Okay, so we're back in Lumbridge Catacombs, but not for Scav 4. Okay, those videos are over. We're gonna talk about AOE, specifically on ranged, because a lot of the tutorials, to be honest with you, like most of the stuff we see online regarding RuneScape AOE, it's always like magic. I don't know why magic became the impromptu AOE whatever simulator. And to be fair, I see why. Okay, now that I think about it, Tumakin's Light or whatever, Tumakin's Staff, whatever it is, I think it was Tumakin's Light. That thing is cracked, bro. That thing has a passive effect, which basically makes it so that you kill everything on the map. Like you basically wipe out the map. If there is anything that is almost like a godlike staff in this game, obviously everyone will say the Fractured Staff of Armadyl is basically a godlike staff. But Tumakin's Light, when you look at it, like it really does, like it looks fucking crazy. But this specific video, let's talk about range for a bit. So I experimented with a lot of different setups, and I used the defaults. If you click auto setup action bar and you click the multi-target bar, it gives you a bar. I tried putting in different setups and whatnot. I found the best kills per hour. So this is generating me close to around 3,300 to 3,400 kills per hour, which for context, Magic with Tumakin's Light will probably generate you 6 to 7,000. So it's almost double. So I kind of see why people would go for Magic, to be honest with you. And Magic without Tumakin's Light, I think will with everything unlocked will probably net you around like maybe 4,000, 4 to 5,000. People say higher, but I tried it. It didn't really work out the way they described it, to be honest. I think, so a lot of the kills per hour calculations that people are sharing online is pre-combat changes. And back then, I think we had more AoE abilities in general. And some of the, like we had more, not even in general, we just had more abilities to play around with. And a lot of that got condensed into like only 8 abilities per style now. So with that being said, also, why did I just, okay. I was like, did my potion just retire? With that being said, get greater ricochet, because this will basically, if you see a trigger, it'll kill 9 mobs across the map. And then, so for the longest time, I did not have corruption shot unlocked because everyone kept saying corruption shot is ass, corruption shot is ass. I didn't really understand in what context they said it's ass, but in an AoE context, so if you watch a corruption shot, you'll see it actually tracks mobs 5 tiles away. So this guy over here was nowhere near me, and he still ended up getting caught by that corruption blast. So a corruption blast is actually better than a bombardment. A bombardment will basically target these 2 tiles across. So if I kill this guy, it'll be like basically like this square of mobs that will get targeted with a bombardment. I think it's up to 2 tiles. So it would be, if it's here, it'd be this, so it would be a square like this. But with corruption shot, so bombardment versus corruption shot is up to 5 tiles. So it could be going diagonal, and then you'll end up killing mobs really far away. So that 20% adrenaline for corruption shot, even though you're getting 4 less targets than bombardment, you're better off. Now, obviously, like some people will say, use Chinchompas. Yeah, you could turn basically any ability into AoE with Chinchompas. Yes and no. I still think Corruption Shot would be a better skill to have because it can target much further away, whereas Chinchompas is kind of similar to Bombardment. And as you can see in this scenario, most of the time as they're respawning, it takes a split second for them to get near you. So I experimented with Chinchompas too, and I find that this setup is actually the best. It's literally just 3 skills. Greater Ricochet, Corruption Shot, and then the third one's Bombardment. Honestly, Bombardment you can even fully remove, to be honest. I don't know if it really makes that big of a difference. And in fact, it might actually end up draining your adrenaline too much for your Corruption Shot to be triggered. But I find that in odd situations, sometimes Corruption Shot and Greater Ricochet is down. In those situations, sometimes you'll have a horde of skeletons around you. And that's where Bombardment makes a big difference. And then there are a couple other things you could do. You could use a Smoke Devil, by the way, which I don't know, honestly, good thing. Wow, I just realized, why the fuck don't I have a Smoke Devil? Smoke Devil is literally an AOE mob. Like it's just an AOE mob. Like it's straight up just an AOE mob. Let's see if I have any. Okay, nice. I have 3, and I also have a bunch of their things. So I'm gonna spawn this little guy, give him all his things, and then go back to Lumbridge Catacombs. This guy will definitely also, similar to Corruption Shot, target mobs that are very far away. And with this full setup, I think with this guy as well, you're probably looking at, you're pushing now close to around like 4,000 kills per hour, which still isn't necessarily competitive to Mage, but like, I think having to train up a whole skill just for AoE, I don't know about that, to be honest with you. Like, the amount of hours you're going to spend setting that whole thing up, like, you may as well have spent just doing extra kills. But I understand from a perspective of a player that's probably chronically doing this and like, doing this, like, 10 hours a day for, like, months at a time and stacking up on a bunch of perks. But I just don't see the point, guys, because some of you guys have shared screenshots of basically, like, 200 rare perks. I don't see the point of that, to be honest. Once you get everything you need, what are you using your, well, like, you're just hoarding at that point. Like, what do you need all that for? So that's why, like, kills per hour optimization makes sense within boundaries. Like, you don't want to go too psychotic and crazy for no reason. You also don't want to, like, neglect everything either. Like, as you saw, Corruption Blast, and then I'm gonna attack this guy. But then the problem is I one-shot them. The Smoke Devil doesn't even really have the opportunity. Okay, the Smoke Devil worked that time, I think. Yeah, it worked. See, the little smoke clouds went out. So that should theoretically increase my kills per hour by a little bit. But yeah, this is by far, I think, the best AoE setup in my opinion. I don't know if there's a better range AoE setup than this. And like, yes, I think eventually when I become a true endgame player, and I have like a boatload of GP laying around, because a Tumika's Light is not a cheap weapon. Tumika's Light is very fucking expensive. And I think for some of you endgame players who have unlimited GP, because again, you've just unlocked and logged everything, and you don't really have much to do, for you guys it makes sense. But again, for you guys it doesn't make sense. The simple reason why it doesn't make sense for you guys is kills per hour doesn't matter to you. What are you going to do with 200 rare perks? It doesn't make any sense. So I think for the average player, the piece of advice that I give the average player is try and optimize it best within your means. You don't need to follow the tutorials or wikis, because some of them kind of over-optimize, to be honest. They like go beyond a certain point, which I think hurts players more than, like, yes, it is really good information, but then you'll often see people get like very, very caught up and stuck in like chasing these like micro optimizations. Try and go for the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule, it's a very simple rule to remember. 80% of the value comes from 20% of the work. And then the remaining 80% of the work only has 20% more value. So if you can get there 80%, the last 20% really doesn't matter, and like you're good enough. And good enough is often better than min-maxing, because you will progress a lot faster. And one thing that I really want to highlight, I watched my first episode drop down this channel yesterday, and like watching my stats being level 1 and just chopping fucking wood literally 4 months ago, and then today we're talking about best in slot perks and like approaching 120 range. Like, we have made a crazy amount of progress in 4 months, and I attribute all of that to just being good enough. You never see me trying to be the absolute best. I'm okay with being just good enough, like just slightly above average. And that makes the decision cycle faster, and that makes the progress faster by a side effect, because the faster you make decisions, the faster you get to the end. So I'm okay with 4,000 kill per hour. I'm honestly even okay with 3,300. That was the original. But yeah, I'm literally seeing the EXP now. So by the way, 550k EXP. So that's 550,000 divided by, I get about 148 EXP per kill. Okay, so we're at 3,700 kills per hour. 3,000, I'm okay with it. Honestly, adding a Smoke Devil was a game changer too. I completely forgot about this guy. But anyways, guys, hope you're still enjoying the channel and videos, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. Bye.